I woke up on my 70th birthday to a soft, careful quiet. The light hadn't reached the walls yet. I made tea, replied to a few messages from old coworkers, and waited for the only call that mattered. It didn't come. By noon, I reminded myself that Lily had a life. South Portland, a husband, a job, a home to run. People drift into their own orbits. Mothers are supposed to step aside gracefully. Still, every time my phone lit up, a small, stubborn hope rose. Every time it dimmed, something in me went with it. When evening settled, I warmed leftover soup and set out the small slice of store-bought birthday cake I'd saved. I kept the kitchen light low. A dim room hurts less than a brightly lit empty one. I was nearly ready to declare the day over when my phone buzzed sharply on the table. "Did you change the card password? You useless woman, tell me now." For a moment, I couldn't breathe. No greeting, no explanation, certainly no birthday wish. A second message arrived from Daniel's number. A photo of Lily and his mother, Marjorie, smiling across a candlelit table, glasses raised. The caption read, "She's trying to pay with your card. It keeps declining." That was when I understood where my daughter was. One of the waterfront restaurants she'd always said were too expensive when I suggested going. She was celebrating my birthday with her husband and his mother with my card, and the only reason she reached out was because it wasn't working. The pain came in quietly and settled deep. I didn't respond. Instead, I sat at my kitchen table in the half-dark while the soup cooled and the cake waited, untouched. Somewhere between the insult and the silence, something inside me tightened not with rage, but with clarity. By the time I went to bed, I already sensed the shape of the next day. The trouble hadn't started with shouting. It had begun 6 months earlier with soft concern and good intentions. After a rainy afternoon, I slipped on the back steps. Just a bruise on my hip, a sore wrist, nothing dramatic. Lily rushed over as if I'd shattered every bone. "Mom, you scared me," she said, easing me onto the sofa. "You shouldn't be alone handling everything." "I'm fine," I told her. She shook her head. "You forget things. You rush. Let me help for a while." I was tired, sore, and grateful for the company. That's how her help began. The next week, she spread my mail across the kitchen table. "Let's switch your bills to paperless so you don't have to track everything," she said, already tapping on her tablet. "I like having the papers here," I replied. "Mom, this is safer. Just write down your passwords. I'll type them in for you." She smiled the way she did as a child when she desperately wanted something. I wrote them down. She held the paper for a heartbeat, then entered everything into her device. Slowly, small things changed. The bank statement stopped arriving. When I asked, she said, "You told me to forward them," though I knew I hadn't. When I couldn't find a medication receipt, she studied me too long before saying, "Mom, your memory is slipping. It's normal at your age." Heat rose in my chest. "I didn't misplace it. You moved my drawer." She gave a short laugh. "See? You always think someone else did it." Her words stung more than my fall. Bit by bit, she moved from helping to managing, from managing to deciding. I allowed it because she was my daughter, and I thought surrendering small things would keep the peace. But small things grow, especially when someone else holds the reins. The first real crack appeared on an ordinary Tuesday. A letter from the bank slipped through my mail slot, strange, given the paperless plan. Inside was a notice about a transfer I didn't recognize. I walked to the Forest Avenue branch, the letter folded tight in my pocket. Brad, the young teller who'd helped me for years, frowned at the screen. "Mrs. Caldwell, these withdrawals aren't your usual pattern." He turned the monitor slightly. "Several transfers to an external account and a new card issued last month." "I didn't request a new card," I said. "Do you want us to freeze the account?" "Not yet," I murmured. "Let me speak to my daughter." That evening, Lily breezed in, still in her work clothes. I handed her the letter. She barely looked at it. "Mom, we talked about this. You asked me to consolidate things. The new card is part of that. I would remember asking for a new card." She crossed her arms. "You misplaced your medication receipt last week. This is the same thing. You get overwhelmed. I'm trying to help." When she left, the apartment felt smaller. I opened a blank notebook and wrote down every date, charge, and detail I could recall. My hand trembled, but my mind was clear. If my memory wasn't failing, something else was. On my birthday, while my soup cooled, Lily's world played out at that waterfront restaurant. The server returned to their table, apologetic. The card had been declined twice. Marjorie tisked about family cards and reliability. Lily's face burned. "It must be a mistake. My mother must have changed something," she said, reaching for her phone. That was when the first cruel message reached me. I could have answered. I could have apologized, tried to fix the evening by handing over my new credentials. A year earlier, I would have, but I no longer trusted the story she told me about my own mind. I turned the phone face down and let it buzz, the vibration like a frantic heartbeat that was no longer my responsibility. I washed my bowl, put the cake away, and wiped the counters, letting the decision settle. Later, I powered off the phone. The quiet felt steadier than it had in months. The next morning, I turned it back on. A stack of angry messages and missed calls flooded the screen. I ignored them. Instead, I opened my notebook. By mid-morning, I called the bank's fraud line. A woman named Denise listened as I explained. "We can freeze your accounts and reset everything," she said. "Only you will have access." "Do it," I replied. For the next 20 minutes, we changed passwords, canceled cards, and created new credentials. When we finished, she said gently, "You're not the first person in this situation. You did the right thing today." Afterward, I called Joanne, my old neighbor. "Are you sure you're ready?" she asked. "I should have been ready years ago," I said. "Then start fresh, keep records, protect yourself." That afternoon, I gathered every letter, statement, and note and placed them in a folder labeled "In My Own Hand" for my protection. It was light, but it felt like reclaiming a heavy part of myself. Lily arrived the next morning, walking in without knocking. "Mom, we need to talk. Give me the new password," she demanded. "Good morning, Lily," I said. "Don't do that. The card wouldn't go through last night. You caused a scene." "I didn't cause anything," I answered. "I protected my account." "You told me to manage things. You don't remember." I set the folder on the table and opened it. "Sit." She didn't, but she read enough. Transfers, dates, places I'd never been, a card I had not requested. Her expression flickered from confusion to shame to anger. "You're twisting this," she insisted. "You're making me out to be a thief." "I wrote everything down," I said softly. "Every time you told me I'd forgotten. So this is your plan. Embarrass me because last night didn't go your way. Yesterday was my birthday," I reminded her. Her face faltered for a moment, then hardened. "I had a lot going on. I know how busy you choose to be. You should be thanking me," she snapped. "I've been handling everything. I'm done thanking you for hurting me." For once, she had no quick answer. 2 days later, I sat in an elder law attorney's office. Miss Heron reviewed my folder. "We'll remove your daughter from your accounts," she said. "From now on, everything requires your signature." On the way home, Daniel called, apologizing, saying Lily was overwhelmed. His mother left a voicemail telling me I should be ashamed, that mothers are meant to support their children, not embarrass them. I deleted it. Lily came again, eyes red, blaming me for problems in her marriage, insisting I was overreacting, that I was too emotional to make decisions. "I've made them," I replied. "The accounts, the passwords, the boundaries, they're mine. So you choose lawyers and bankers over your daughter? I'm choosing myself." Weeks passed. I built a quieter life. Joanne and I met for Thursday coffee. I handled my banking in person. Brad greeted me with respect, not pity. One afternoon, a small vanilla cake in a bakery window caught my eye. I bought it with my new card. The beep of the transaction felt like a door closing and another opening. At home, I lit a single candle and cut myself a slice. The apartment was quiet, but no longer lonely. My phone buzzed on the counter. "Happy birthday, Mom. Months late. No apology, just that." I typed, "Thank you, Lily," and set the phone aside without waiting. As evening settled over Back Cove, I switched on the lamp in my front window. For years, I had left that light burning for other people, hoping they'd come home. That night, the light was only for me.